What's up, YouTube? Tangible one here, and I was bored, and I was looking to spend some currency in this game, some building currency, tuning currency, I guess. And so I was trying to find a decent build for Froppy. I was just playing around with her, you know, she's kind of fun. She's not the best character, but I decided I'd make a video on me just building her. We're just gonna go through the thought process, what I'm thinking, and then we're just gonna build her. Without further ado, let's get to it, right? So, the first thing you want to do when you're building any character in this game is you want to build towards their strengths, right? Cookie cutter builds are cool, but you want to just maximize the tuning materials that you have because they're very limited. I mean, now that we're getting in the battle pass, which is neat, so it's encouraging us to build. But let's maximize Froppy. So, when we think of Froppy, we know Froppy is not one of the highest damage dealers, right? As of now, I mean, there's only a rapid Froppy, and she's very hit and run. Very low damage, very hit and run, but her highlight, that I believe highlights the entire character, is her ability to just revive. It's not as good as Ibarra's, because Ibarra gets 2 charges, but Froppy is very mobile. So that's what she has over her. So you can get in and out, revive, touch, finish people off, things like that, right? So that's what we're going to build around. Now, what does that mean? That means no matter what costume we pick, we're going to have to get that enhanced revive. So when it comes to building, the first thing I like to do is think about the 2 main slots. We know the enhanced revive is, what's his name? Kirigiri, and he's a green villain. And we know that the second slot here is what gives us level 11, which gives us the maximum amount of revive when we actually use it, right? So, unfortunately, I was able to pull pretty much every costume except for Jiangxi one. So we have a plethora of options. So we're just gonna go through and look at only the costumes that have at least a green. Preferably in the second slot. Doesn't have to be, I guess, but and then we're just gonna start checking them off as we go, right? So we're just gonna start at the bottom with Superstar Idol. This one just came out. The first slot, the first one, it's a green hero. We ignore that. We need a green neutral or a green villain. So this one's not useful for us. And here we have our first green villain, Superstar Idol Scarlet. So we go in here. This one is not too bad. It's a blue-green. So while we do get the level 11 on the second slot, which is huge, unfortunately, our second slot is a blue. So what does that mean for us? If you look at the blues, unfortunately, in my opinion, Froppy doesn't do well with the blue tuning here. I mean, she doesn't really need a wall run because she can Spider-Man wherever she wants to go. Plus Ultra Turbo, she's not the one making people go down. In a competent team setting, you're not going to be the one downing people. You might get a couple downs, but I don't think it's worth it enough to run this. She doesn't need wall runner because she's Spider-Man. Quasi-permeation might be the only one because that lets you open the chest right off the rip and get your team a +1, level up to all their skills, plus you get the cards. But is it worth running on Froppy? I don't think so. I don't think quasi-permeation is worth running on most people. So that would probably be your only option. Perception, nope. GP Sucker, once again, it's only when you make it go down, and it just got nerfed, not the best. And same with card duplication, you have to be the one to down them in order for that to work. If you are a hyper-aggressive Froppy, and even with 2 partners that are playing hyper-aggressive characters, you're still able to get downs, then by all means, this could be the costume for you. Probably card duplication. Because the output here, the layout here for the other tuning slots are actually really good as well. I would like a villain slot here as well, instead of a hero. But it's not bad, but we're not going to go with this one for that reason. I do not like it. Moving on, we have a green here. Check this one out. So we do like the yellows in here. Like we said, we are a support. We are not doing the most damage in any game with competent teammates, right? So I think the best way to build her is defense and utility. So recharge and defense. That's what the yellows here are going to give us. Unfortunately, not a lot of purples, so you're not going to get a lot of recharge. But we have 3 red slots. And unfortunately, you're not going to get the level 11 revive. So that's the sacrifice with this costume. And you also have a wasted villain red here. Froppy does not want. I mean, the quirk skill alpha attack power, sure, but there are other options for her. And then the fact that it's a villain. I guess you could go with special attack boost. All for one. That would allow you to revive more if you get it down. If you can get somebody down, if your teammates don't take the kill. Not a fan. I don't think we're gonna choose that one. Here's another green. Too many reds for my liking, and once again, we don't have the level 11 here. If this is your only costume, this wouldn't be too bad. I would have liked to see a purple, but honestly, I think there's too many reds for what we want to run Froppy with, but you could run Sisterly here. So that's it for Superstar. Not a lot of... I don't like the options for this. This is the one that just came out. I don't really like it. Moving on. We're looking for greens. Okay, here we go. Ooh. So, okay. Huh. So this is a level 11 revive. That's good, right? Unfortunately, there's too many blues here. The blue tuning is probably the worst tuning option for Froppy. So you are getting almost nothing out of your tunings down here. Not the optimal setup. This was so close. If this wasn't all blues for some reason, this would be a high contender because you get the 11 here, and then you could run Coda Finder or Willpower here, which wouldn't be bad for her. Looking for any more. Okay, here we go. Old Uniform Heat. Now, this one is actually really good. You don't get the level 11, but you do get the Coda Finder or the Willpower, and the selections of tuning down here is actually perfect for her. You got 2 yellows, 2 green, a couple of reds. Well, I wouldn't say this is perfect. I would have liked one of these reds swapped out with either a yellow or a purple. This one's okay. This one's not too bad. I'd put this probably top. Moving on, we got the Festival of Yukata. This is a hero green. We can't use it. And her only other one is this one that has the green in it. Ooh. See, this one is really nice. It has a good selection. I would have liked to swap one of these villains with a yellow. Yep, another yellow would have been perfect here. Because there's 2 villains here, it actually forces you to use... it forces you to use this guy, max down HP, which isn't optimal, but it's not that big of a deal. And we don't get the level 11 revive here, but this is probably also top 3. I would say top 4. Let me go back. This is probably top 4. This might be my 3rd option, whereas the other one we just did would be my 4th option. Jiangxi, I don't have it. However, not a big deal because the only Jiangxi one that can use the revive is the special tuning, is this one, but it comes with a villain blue, which is terrible. I'm gonna look at it. Parallel World. So there's a heat and there's a fancy. Let's look at the heat one. This one, you would run it with high speed replenishment. That's not a bad tuning for Froppy. Keeps her alive. The faster you can drink the pots, the faster you can help your teammates out with a team heal or stay alive in general. Especially with invisible and drinking, you get that pot off. The tuning distribution is actually perfect because you get the all for one special action reload here, and you get the revive here. This one is really good. I would say this would be my second option. If you're okay with having the level 10 revive with the Aizawa, this is the costume you want. And now we got Parallel World Fancy. So looking at this one, for Parallel World Fancy, oh. See, it's almost perfect. There's too many purples here. I would have liked to swap one of these villain purples with a yellow. Or a blue. Actually, we need a blue here. There's no blue. But you do get the level 11 Reinforced Revive, which is huge. The difference between the level 10 and the level 11 Reinforced Revive is 50 shield. And you can see that by going to... This is the My Hero Ultra Rumble database. This is what I use to get a bunch of my information. You can go on here and you can pull Reinforced Revive. So you would just go to Tunings, Special Slots, Work, and Overhaul. You can see the difference between level 10 and 11 is 50 GP. So at level 10 you get 200, at level 11 you get a full. That 50 points is going to matter greatly, I think, especially in the heat of combat. That's another 50 points your teammates are going to get to survive. The reds are fine. The greens are fine. You do waste a slot with a villain. An extra villain, so you're forced to use Dobby here. And then you get a yellow here. Now, yellow on Froppy is not bad. Like I said, you could run Sisterly. You could run the new Space Hop for... if you want to just jump really high, I guess. Or you could even run Revenge Assault, which is going to give you a 20% armor increase. Damage reduction, I should say. You get a 20% damage reduction when your shields crack. Which, we're all about survivability, right? So that's pretty good. Like I said, I would have liked if we had more yellows and a blue. Just one blue. Maybe swap one of the reds for a yellow and swap one of the purples for a blue. If it had that, this is the perfect costume. This might be our selection, though. Regardless of the defaults to it, this might be our selection just because this one has the level 11. Wait, tracksuit, we don't bother with these because they are not plus ultra level, they are just SR and R. So, we don't really want to build 1 star and 2 stars. So, that's all her costumes. So that being said, our option, there were 4, it would be old uniform, I believe it was old uniform, right? Old uniform Heat, the Yukata, I guess top 3, say, would be old uniform Heat, the Yukata, and this Parallel World Fancy. And then runner-up, if you like the blue, go with this one. Special mention is this one. If you like the blue tuning, we might get more rapids. It could be better in the future, but you do get the level 11 here, and the distribution is not too bad. So, that being said, I think I'm going to go Parallel World Fancy. And so now that we've made our decision for the costume and for these 2 slots, well, I guess something I should have mentioned is you also want to keep in mind the distribution, right? So I kind of did my research ahead of time, so I knew what slots I would have preferred. But you can definitely use this tuning database and just go to normal slot, and you can look for the stats that you want, right? So like I said in the beginning, we want to play her defensive. She's a hit and run revive specialist, very squishy, so we want to cover those weaknesses. So basically we want yellow slots. I guess for our reds, the ones that we're mainly concerned with on the red side is going to be Present Mike, because he gives you HP as well as special action reload for your revive. That's like perfect, right? And then you would throw in a red Curie, because he gives you beta attack power, which is a plus, but the one we want is the quirk skill gamma defense. And then if you have extra slots, you can get whatever defense, which I believe is Shinzo. Well, no, Shinzo gives you a forward jump height if you wanted to have play with that and have more utility. That's pretty much it for Reds. Reds don't have many defensive options. That's why we would have liked to have just two Reds here. And if we go to Rapid, the only Rapid one that we care about is Mirio, because he gives you reload speed on your quirk skill Alpha, and twice because he gives you beta reload. So you would prioritize Mirio, then twice. You want to be able to whip around as much as possible, get that off cooldown, and keep going, right? That's why one blue here would have been nice. And if we go to support, I mean, we already know. It's got max HP, max GP. Can't use that overhaul, and then there's there's 2 max GP and a max HP. So three green slots would have been nice here. We go to Assault. All this stuff is defense, right? But we wanted to prioritize All Might for HP defense, Kiri for alpha defense, and then here you would kind of make a decision. Do you want to do alpha or beta defense? Because you could do both. You could stack one, or you could kind of split it. If you want to do alpha, you do Kiri, and whoever else has alpha then here. Or if you want to have fun, I guess you can increase your vertical jump height with Chaco here, with satellites. But yeah, all this Shiggy has alpha defense. All this stuff would be nice. So you want at least 2 or 3 yellows. Go technical. You want at least 1, so you can run this all for 1, because he gives you your revive, reload, and max HP. Exactly what we want. Then purple Danky. He gives us your alpha reload with a nice alpha attack power on top. We're more focused on the reload. And then Aizawa also gives reload for your alpha. Then if you have more, go with gives quirk skill beta reload. The rest don't really matter. But unfortunately, we're going to be forced with this skin to take the Dabi, which is quirk skill beta reload, which isn't the end of the world. For Gamma is not that. I find myself having plenty of Gamma, so I would go with the Dabi. But yeah, so that's the logic, that's the reasoning behind builds. Now let's plug in everything and let's just build her. Probably just gonna do a fast forward on this. Oh, something I forgot to mention, you also want to be careful where you slot things, because like stuff on this side, stuff at the top, max level goes to 3, and the very 2 bottom slots, it goes to 4. So if I really like this all for 1 tuning, I want to make sure I slot him down here on the level slot instead of the level slot. But other than that, let's get back to it. And there we have it. That is the build. Unfortunately, I didn't have Present Mike, so I don't have Present Mike, so I was unable to put him here, but in 8 more character data, I will be able to, so I just have to play a little bit, get some character data, and I'll be able to slot him right in there. Yeah, this is pretty much what the build's gonna look like. And even for this Sisterly, if you're not a fan of Sisterly, I mean, it just got nerfed. There's a lot of bad stuff behind it, whatever. You can go for Space Hop. You can just jump to the moon whenever you want. You can go for Revenge Assault, or even if you want to go Embrittlement. That way when you hit a melee attack in combat, you can tell your teammates to focus this person. Yo, what up? This is Intangible from the editing studio. I actually did end up going with Embrittlement here over Sisterly. It's way more fun. It's versatile. I like it. If this helps, and you like the video, like to see me do more on some more characters, just like, comment, subscribe. With that, I'll see you guys later. Hey, thanks for staying until the end of the video. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Elodie Rock. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that was the individual who helped design my intro and all my banners and profile pictures. So if you're in need of any type of graphic design, they're very flexible, very easy to work with, highly recommend. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching the video and have a wonderful day.